We've all heard of Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, but we are now going to learn about Black Myth Wukong. I'm going to buy it twice. Hit the like button because this is your daily reminder that you don't hate journalists enough. You know, I don't ever want to hear someone say, IGN has officially hit rock bottom, because the reality is the ignorant gamers network IGN has been there for 20 years. They never left. They have firmly cemented their legacy of being the biggest waste of life ever. Because just recently, they said that The Acolyte was just peak TV writing. Peak TV writing, they said. Just absolute drivel. Now, you probably already know this, but Game Science, the studio behind Black Myth Wukong, was getting strong-armed by Sweet Baby Inc. into giving them $7 million for their, quote, consultancy, end quote. And we all know what that means, don't we? Just shoehorning every single identity politic that they can muster in their fart-sniffing minds. And quite literally destroying everything they touch. And when the developer Game Science refused their stupid little extortion attempt, Sweet Baby Inc. got extremely pissy and then called up their friends in the industry to write hit pieces upon hit pieces, including mistranslations of what the founder of Game Science said. Now, we know that this is very likely retaliation for the studio publicly saying they refused to pay Sweet Baby Inc. $7 million for their, quote, services, which the studio said they felt like was extortion. Now, folks, leave it to IGN, the ignorant gamers network, to use the laziest means possible to translate another language. Do you remember when journalists used to actually take their job seriously? Yeah, I know it's been a while. Now, the mistranslation was actually fucking insane. They completely turned a humble and humorous gentleman into a because this Rebecca Valentine from IGN used Google Translate to translate a developer's native language. Yeah, because that's such a great idea to use as a way to quote someone. Now, this imbecile didn't even bother to run this translation by someone that actually speaks the language. She just went with it and then published it in the most salacious way possible. We should honestly call IGN the bare minimum, boys, because it didn't even occur to this that after inputting those words into Google Translate and then seeing what came out, she didn't say to herself, you know, this looks kinda weird, maybe I should double check. No, that's too much work for IGN. You know what they say, you can't spell ignorant without IGN. Now, the sad part, that there's probably Chinese people who work at IGN who can understand the original post by the creator, but they're too afraid to speak up because they know they'll get fired for having too much journalistic integrity. Because if you use your job as a weapon to hurt a completely innocent person, then you don't deserve to have it. Because these kinds of intentionally inflammatory articles just to spread hatred should have some consequences. Someone should lose their job over this, but we all know that ain't happening. I love how Sweet Baby Inc. is like, give us $7 million to make your game sell even fewer copies in the West. And Game Science is like, you know what, nah, we're good. And SBI is like, bigot, you bigot! Now, we're gonna get you back by making completely malicious, slanderous articles that should really land us in jail. You know, it's wild to me that IGN thinks they did nothing wrong, making up all those blatant lies they told, but expect Game Science to retract and apologize for statements that they, IGN, warped and made up themselves. They quite literally create a problem that never existed and then expect whoever they're screeching at to apologize for that entirely phantom problem. Now, I have a question for every single person in the comments to reply to. Now, why would a Chinese company making a game about a Chinese tale that was written in the 16th century need consulting about modern Western societal phenomenons and cultural appropriation? Why would they even give a about what Sweet Baby Inc. even wants or thinks about? Imagine looking at a game about mythological personified animals and monsters and saying, why isn't there any women, black people, transgenders, or disabled in this game? That is clearly not the game they're making. And now I've been at the point for a while where I essentially started using these journalists as to find which games are good and which are bad. If these freaks say a game is good, I won't buy it. If these freaks say a game is bad, I will definitely buy it. I just do the opposite of whatever they suggest and everything will work out. I mean, if anything, this just convinces me to buy Black Myth Wukong the day it comes out, because if anything we learned up until this point is that if the media or slash journalists say they hate you, then you're doing something right, and on that bombshell, Manic's out.